This is Kathy Biehl of EmpowermentUnlimited.net with Astro-Insight for the week of January 25th, 2021. Well, yes, there's more excitement in store, but as last week showed, excitement inciting aspects don't necessarily have to be unpleasant. We are in for some personal change now as the sun meets with radical awakening Uranus. Look at how your perception of reality changed last week. Look at how quickly the energy shifted into a different but very practical and fast-moving mode. And now that is on tap for you. How can you break out of chains? How can you break out of a way of life that has been restrictive or holding you back? This week brings you the gear shift of settling deeply into commitment to yourself, the Sun conjunct Saturn, and then breaking apart, looking at things differently, liberating, awakening as the Sun squares Uranus. Deep evolutionary forces are hitting a point of culmination, affecting our information flow, bringing ideas and concepts and truths to light in a way that is not going to be comfortable, but is necessary with Mercury, the communication god, in a growth-oriented aspect to Pluto, Lord of the Underworld. And on the 28th, Pluto merges with his worldly counterpart, Venus, goddess of all we desire, ruler of money and relationships, merges with Pluto, ruler of the hidden depths of metamorphosis, of obsession and compulsion and non-rational impulses, and also Lord of intense wealth. These two merge, a tractor beam is in effect, and we are being pulled, each of us, towards something that we cannot rationally control. And the question is it possessing us? Do we possess it? This aspect coincides with the first full moon of the year, the Leo full moon, the look at me, inner child running amok full moon, and amok is definitely at play because Jupiter is in the center of the festivities. Jupiter, the planet of indulgence, the planet that expands everything it touches, is with the sun, which is opposite the moon. We might be hyper-intellectual, hyper-mental, possibly seeing ourselves in an incredibly aggrandized light, which fits also with the counterpoint of the moon in Leo. This moon always raises the question of who gets you, who sees you, who is applauding you, who's playing along with you, who's ignoring you, and of course, who is trying to squelch your light. None of us is going to want to isolate with this, no matter how socially distant we may have to be. We're going to be dancing, strutting our stuff, gaining attention, demanding attention, finding our playmates, igniting our networks, expressing ourselves in ways that perhaps we haven't been able to before, pushing ourselves out of, oh, what's that buzz phrase? Comfort zone? Speaking our hearts even when it feels a little bit awkward, with Mercury in a semi-sextile with Venus on the 29th. And then Mercury begins his first backwards march of the year. So all week long, he is slowing his progress. Communication is hovering in the air. There's a sense of weird stillness, even with all the abrupt and quick action. And on the 30th, Mercury retrogrades in the sign of Aquarius. He will be retrograde until February 20th. So for virtually most of the time that the sun is in the sign of Aquarius, the usual cautions apply. Allow extra time for travel. Don't be surprised if there are weird problems with technology and the internet. take care with communication. You may find that you and somebody else are using the same words, and it turns out that you had completely different definitions for the words. If at all possible, avoid launching something major or signing a major contract or making a major purchase, particularly involving technology, as long as Mercury is retrograde and if circumstances force you basically to do that, because life does continue regardless. Know that you'll probably have the opportunity to revisit whatever you have just done. On the plus side, this is terrific energy for investigating and finishing up old business and taking care of lingering matters. And I have a lot more about this in my guide to handling Mercury retrograde at Om Times, and the link will be in the description box below. Homing thought of the week. It is as it is, I am as I am, and now is my time. Song of the week, I have two, Be Yourself by Audioslave, and the theme song to Sesame Street, Somebody Come and Play. And the image of the week is splurging on something that you really, really want because you know you're worth it. You'll find more about all this in my forecast for the Leo full moon, which will be up at my site by the beginning of the week. In my guide to Uranus in Taurus and talk about Saturn in Aquarius, both of which are available at my site, empowermentunlimited.net, where you can sign up for my mailing list and book a session with me. I'm Kathy Biehl, a professional astrologer with more than 30 years' experience. I host lively conversation on Facebook at Empowerment Unlimited and the Astro-Insight Lounge. And again, I remind people who are asking for admission to the lounge, you must disclose how you found it in order to be admitted. So answer the questions, please. There's lots of bonus content at patreon.com/Kathy Biehl, and I'm really grateful to the people who are continuing to support my work there. I post on Instagram at @KABiehl and on YouTube at The Professional Aquarian Channel. Talk to you next week.